Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Tractor Noise podcast. Thanks so much for joining us. We hope you're having a great week. On today's show, we'll be looking ahead to Town's season opener against Sunderland this weekend in the Premier League. And to help me look ahead to that game and more things at Ipswich Town, I'm delighted to say, and joined by Mr. James Bennett. James, good to see you, mate.
How you doing, mate? You good?
Yeah, all good. It's inching closer now, is the Premier League. Are you excited? Obviously, we had this a couple of years ago of the Liverpool game. Obviously, we've had that experience now in this sort of generation as fans, but I don't want to say we're used to it, but going into this weekend, maybe a bit more, I don't want to say confident, but I mean, with nerves, there's less nerves, more like just excitement now, I think, isn't there, perhaps?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm just excited for one that football's obviously back anyway. I know it's not been long. We've had the World Cup and everything, but it's nice to have football coming back, obviously. The AFL's come back, Championship and everything. So it's nice to just have it back. But yeah, very excited to see how we look first game, because obviously we've made quite a few signings. Good to see how Gary O'Neill will set up. Do you know what I mean, for the first game of the season? So yeah, excited, and I think good things to come.
Yeah, he obviously had a few pre-season games at Portman Road, Gary O'Neill, and obviously a few of the other new lads as well. But this is really his first sort of welcoming into the stadium, isn't it? We'll touch on the game shortly, but this week we mentioned it on our prediction show on the weekend there about who could Town's best signing be, and we alluded to the signing of Julio and Enciso. Typical, that came to fruition a few days after we recorded. But I think we can kind of expect anyway. Me and you spoke about him recently on the pod. We can touch a bit more now that it is permanent. We'll start before we'll get to the appetizers, because obviously on Monday the club did announce both signings of him and his former Strasbourg teammate, now Ipswich teammate, of Abdoul Ouattara as well. Like I said, we'll get to Enciso in a sec. But Ouattara as well, shouldn't go unnoticed as well in terms of the signing there. £17 million. Seems to be quite a versatile player in terms of where he can play on the pitch. Good young age as well, and obviously that previous experience working under Gary O'Neill. So I think it ticks a lot of boxes, doesn't it? And I think you said to us when the rumour got sort of first brought up, you've already got a bit of an allegiance to him through playing on like Football Manager, Fantasy Manager. I don't really play that game. Is that how you first heard of him?
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, yeah, Ouattara, he seems like you've just said, Tom, to be fair, he seems like a very Gary O'Neill player. He obviously got experience with him already at Strasbourg, can play both sides of the fence. Seems like he can play sort of both sides of midfield as well. And yeah, I have got him a Football Manager, to be fair, and I play him on the right of midfield. That's not his best position, I don't think. It's just I need someone there at the minute, but that's by the by. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, from what I don't know too much about him in real life as such, but yeah, I think it's good that he's already got the link up with Gary O'Neill. I think that's a very good, positive thing to have. So yeah, I think it's a good signing, and he's obviously a very young lad as well. So it's a good signing and potentially one for the future as well. So yeah, I think it's a good signing all around.
You bring that one in as well. Like, there's obviously various areas on the pitch we need to strengthen this summer, and he's one which, for the most part, obviously, again, as you said, haven't seen him play that much. I will add, but one of the positions he does seem to play quite well in is right back. Do you expect him? Maybe not for Sunderland. He did train on Monday immediately after the signing was announced. So I assume that was all done the weekend, formalities wise, press wise. But so he was with the team on Monday to train. Do you reckon there's a chance he could fill in at right back, or is it Furlong's just for the time being?
It's a tough one, that I think, because if he had signed and had maybe a bit more pre-season, I think he might be starting instead of sort of Furlong. But I think he's going to need maybe a couple of weeks, maybe. I don't think he'll start him anyway. I think it could be Furlong. It might even be O'Shea, to be honest.
Yeah,
it could be O'Shea. He's been playing a lot there pre-season, so I'm not entirely sure. It could be between O'Shea and Furlong. So my money would probably be on O'Shea at the minute.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who plays in that position on the weekend. I think Ouattara as well. Just as I said, you get some speed out on that right side. Obviously, I think defence we're going to have to be a lot more solid, and maybe that's why he's been testing O'Shea out there on the right and not relying on your pace on the fullbacks as we've done in previous successful seasons, and having that sort of stability to that. But he certainly offers a lot, and as I said, experience link with the manager, and obviously a few other teammates as well in the team with. The next guy we're going to touch on, we spoke about Enciso a few weeks ago, but this is a big signing. Obviously, it's I think financially maybe with Emerson maybe our biggest signing of the summer. But yeah, it's a big one. Is it? What, just initial thoughts on the move? Are you happy to see him back at Portman Road? Probably a silly question, but
yeah, silly question. No, absolutely. I'm absolutely buzzing, to be honest with you, Tom. It's a great signing, isn't it? Really, because forget about the long spell itself, because obviously it was just a 6-month sort of period where we were kind of on the sort of downward anyway. But forgetting that, the man's had a very good World Cup. He's clearly a very good player, got a lot of talent. If he can stay fit, I think that's his main problem anyway, is staying fit, it seems to be. But if we can keep him fit, we've got a big talent on our hands. So yeah, I think it's a brilliant signing, a proper statement signing, I'd say. And yeah, very exciting, and I'm hoping he starts, to be honest. I know he's only just signed as well, but I think he should be straight into the starting lineup.
Yeah, he's one of those players. Obviously, Paraguay didn't go deep into the World Cup. They did make it to the knockout stages, and big shock against Germany as well. He was key in that game. But yeah, he may have had a slightly less of a preseason in comparison to his teammates. But he is fit as a fiddle, isn't he? Like,
yeah.
One of the main things he offers, obviously, is that goal threat, and he seems to just want to have a go. Anyway, we said this a couple of years ago when he joined on loan. And obviously, you do want to see that build up and pretty play, and crossing into the box, choke the like Emerson himself can get on the end of. But we've seen it, and I think it's a really good trait to have in a player when you are, let's assume, at the bottom, near the bottom end of the table. Yeah. To just have a pop, like we saw it for us. He did it for Brighton a couple of times. It's a really good trait for a player in our team to have, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we need that kind of player as well. It's definitely what I would say we're maybe missing a little bit. I mean, Nunes in the Championship was maybe a little bit like that when he was fit as well. Playing, he can be a bit dangerous. You don't know what he's going to do. Enciso's obviously a better player than Nunes, and that's no disrespect to Nunes at all. But Enciso's obviously a much better player. For us to have that threat at any time, it's massive for us. And we're going to be in a relegation scrap, of course we are. Let's put no two ways about it kind of thing. And yeah, massive threat. And I really do think it's such an exciting signing.
Yeah, definitely. We surprised to get him permanently. It was rumoured to be a loan for a long time. I was quite surprised as well. Maybe I was kind of expecting to be back on loan rather than permanent.
Yeah, I was, to be honest, because obviously the rumours came back and forth, didn't they? I think it started as maybe permanent, and then it went to loan. Seemed it was going to be on loan, but was it Palace who were interested? I think we touched on it in a previous podcast, maybe, but I think Palace were maybe interested, or someone like that, and they wanted permanent because Strasbourg wanted a permanent move. So I'm glad that kicked us into gear and just said, right, let's just spend the money, do the permanent, because he clearly would prefer an Ipswich move over a Palace because he knows the club a little bit more. And I think obviously he knows the fans wants it as well. So yeah, I'm glad we went permanent. It surprised me, but I'm glad we're doing it. It shows intent.
Yeah. It's also more, we talked about on the weekend, in terms of the amount of experience we have in the Premier League now in this squad in comparison to 2 years ago. It's just increased that even more, hasn't it? And that's going to only help off the pitch as well as on the pitch, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like we're in such a better position. Like you say, we seem a little bit, I don't know, we are, like fans, like all of us, I think, seem a little calmer, maybe. We're a little bit more confident because of the signings that we're making. We're not just making signings for the sake of it as such. We seem to really rebuilding and building on what we've already got. So it's positive signs, and yeah, I am excited, but I don't want to get ahead of myself either. Do you know what I mean? But we're in a much stronger position than we were 2 years ago. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. You weren't on the show on the weekend, but we did do the predictions one. Obviously, won't go through every single one you got here because we did speak about some of your picks on the weekend. I agree with a lot of picks as well you made, with likes of Lukic maybe being our best signing. I agree with that. Where was you had it for those who know, we had a sort of a wild hot take one, so like something a bit outlandish. I think one was like McKenna to return to management. Yours was unbeaten run of 10. I mean, I love it, but it could seem a bit out there. But that's the whole point of the pick, I guess.
I think, listen, it's it's like you say, it's a bit of a wild one. It's outlandish, but I think, like I say, we're going to be in a bit of a scrap, definitely. And I'm not saying we're going to win all these 10. Obviously, I think there's going to be a lot of draws in these. If it's going to happen, it's obviously a wild take. So I do not sort of think, that I think it's definitely going to happen. But just as sort of a wild take, I just think because we're going to be in such a scrap, I think if we get clicking, which I think we've got the potential to do, we're going to be very tough to beat. And I think we're going to make Portman Road a bit more of a fortress than we did a couple of years ago. And we were better away a couple of years ago, so I'm hoping that is the same kind of thing. And I think we will strengthen up at Portman Road. So yeah, who knows? It could happen.
I did also like doing the double over the top 6 you mentioned as well in your predictions.
Yeah.
I think it's a potential. Surprisingly, we were. I think the games we were maybe better at 2 years ago were against the top 6 sides, and your Spurs and Villa and Chelsea, some good results there. I know Villa considered a top 6 side, but they're a European side, aren't they? They're in the Champions League season. So yeah, they're very much considered a top team. It could be out there. Before we move to previewing the game against Sunderland on the weekend, obviously we've got a few weeks left of the window. Well, where else do you think we need to add? I've got a few on my radar. Where I know we asked you about a few weeks ago, you said strengthening maybe the left back area, or giving Davis some depth behind him. But are there any other areas, maybe like in the centre of the park or centre backs, or moving forward, do you think we need to improve upon?
Yeah, I still think we need another striker. To be honest, I think we need another. Just to compete kind of thing. Yeah, just another sort of. Obviously, number 9s are hard to find, but we just need another striker, I think. Obviously, like you say, definitely another left back. Maybe another sort of centre mid, perhaps. So we got a bit more backup. And I know we've just signed Ouattara, but he's obviously, like we said before, a very versatile player. I would like to get maybe another right back as well. I like Fairlong, but I don't know if he's good enough for the Premier League. And I don't think I'd prefer O'Shea at right back either. If he's going to start him at centre back. So yeah, I'd say maybe, definitely left back, another striker, centre mid, and potentially a right back. But we've already spent so much, so we'll just have to see what happens, I think, with that.
As I say, James, it's not our money.
It's not our money, mate. It is not our money. So hopefully they can keep spending.
Yeah. I feel like the Palacios news has kind of faded slightly. I know after it was rejected, it seems like he's keen on a move to the Prem more so. And if we come in financially, it could come through. I know we spoke about it a few weeks ago, but do you expect that to pick up in the next few weeks?
I think it could from what I've seen. He said he definitely wants to move to the Premier League. He's willing to take a pay cut, and that's positive. Do you know what I mean? So, I think it could pick up again, but I think he's now on a few teams' radar as well. I think because of all of this, so you don't know. It could go into the wind with us, but hopefully, because that'd be a hell of a signing. It really would.
Yeah, fingers crossed for that one and a few others. So yeah, as I said, a small matter of an actual game this weekend. We've had a lot of talk over the summer. Not as many podcasts, obviously, as we do throughout the season. We'll have week in, week out ones now. Moving forward, the season underway this weekend, but it is a small matter of our first game of the season at home to Sunderland. Very much, I think, a team who just kind of capture the imagination of teams like us, really, going up now. The talk of teams going up, then down. Obviously, it was 2 seasons back to back of that happening. We've got history of a rivalry with Leeds, and most teams do, to be honest. But I was kind of excited or hoping last season that it wasn't just, 3 up, 3 down, and some teams would make a real good go of it. And obviously Leeds did, and they probably looked to kick on this year with some good signings they've made. But obviously Sunderland were the pick of the bunch, weren't they, really from the start of the season? Faded a bit after AFCON with a few of their players going away, but then picked up again near the latter stages. Just thoughts on them as an opponent, because there's no easy games in the Prem. I think in comparison to this against Liverpool at home a few seasons ago, on paper it's a bit of an easier one, but it's an exciting game, and it's, as I said, it's a team we're very much looking to emulate. Maybe not 7th place, but at least have a really good go of it and become an established Premier League team this season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Sunderland, all credit to them. Do you know what I mean? They really did look a good side last year, and to sort of break that mould along with Leeds, obviously, was a fantastic achievement. I think they're absolutely beatable, though. I think first game of the season, because we've got behind us with the element of surprise as well. Do you know what I mean? We have made a lot of signings, like we've already discussed, and I think they're going to want to prove themselves as well, that they deserve a place in that Ipswich Town squad. Do you know what I mean? So I think we're going to come full barrel at them, and I think they're absolutely beatable. They've not made. I think have they made one signing? Maybe I might be wrong on that, because I know they've signed Thomas Munier, but.
Yeah, so Thomas Munier on a free. Good bit of experience there. I think him and Mukiele at right back. I think 5 years ago, one of the 2 of the best pairings in the world. That at right back, but
exactly.
UKLA still got a bit about them though, hence why I think I did so well last season. But it's apologies for mispronouncing the name, but Diane Metiali, I think he's from Toulouse as well. So him, like Emerson, joining the Premier League. Good bunch of players leaving that side, it seems. But he's now joined them as well for a decent fee. But they're the only two they've made. And obviously with European football, obviously like last year, they signed a lot of people. We're kind of doing what they did last year in terms of going after a lot of experience and players outside the Prem. But, you know, do you think it's surprising they haven't made as many signings? Obviously not to the same degree, I don't think they need to, but with European football and the talk of, you know, it's going to be a struggle balancing both those as we found out 20 or so years ago.
Yeah, I do find it a surprise, to be honest. I thought they was going to make quite a few signings because obviously they did so well and they achieved such a good position. I thought, you know, a lot of players are going to see that as a really good project, you know what I mean? Because that's what a lot of players do now. But whether or not they've not been able to attract the players that they wanted or they just don't see fit to improve, if that's the case, fair play to them. But I really do think they should have made a few more signings, but that is what it is. And I think going on to the actual game, I think it's going to be a really good game. Obviously, they've got the dangers, but yeah, I do think we can grab a win against them, absolutely.
Who do you think, you know, who could be the difference maker? I mean, last season, looking at their goals, it was kind of spread across the park, wasn't it? No one in the Prem, at least, got double figures. Brian Bobby and Wilson Isler up top. There's talk of Isidore leaving. We were even linked at some point as well. It's quite surprising considering he scored a good amount. They kind of got players all across the park, haven't they? Obviously, Lefay and Talebi and Ukiele, and off the bench, you know, Chris Riggs is reliable hand. Obviously, Xhaka can thump it in. He only scored one last year in the Prem, but there's a lot of threat there, isn't there, going forward, and defensively they're pretty wise as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's, like you said at the start of this little bit, mate, there's no easy game in the Prem anyway. There's threats everywhere. So no matter who you're facing, there's a long time to sort of prepare. It's the first game of the season, do you know what I mean? So Gary O'Neill and his team they've targeted and identified what the threats are, do you know what I mean? So we should be able to work on it, and hopefully we've done enough work to be ready for the first Premier League game of the season. Yeah,
this is the only game really, isn't it, where you've got a long time to think about it. Obviously, you know, they would have been thinking about, you know, Liverpool and United and whoever, Palace, Everton after this as well for the first few weeks. But this is the game that's obviously, it's a chance really to sort of stake your claim and maybe just put down a bit of a marker with a good performance. Looking at our side of things, obviously, we are an Ipswich Town podcast. What do you expect to see maybe from the lineup? We'll get into predictions in a sec. But in terms of individuals you're looking forward to see, as you said, we've made a lot of signings. Is there anyone out of the new crop you're excited to see at Portman Road for the first time this weekend?
Well, obviously, we've already touched on Enciso. I'm looking forward to see him in for the first time again. Do you know what I mean? But Lukic, I think, is a great sign. I'm looking forward to seeing him. Just I'm not sure if Emerson's going to start. He probably will, and if he does, he probably will. You're right, and I'm looking forward to seeing him. I think because I've not really seen too much of pre-season. Do you know what I mean? So, and I've just heard a lot more talk about him. So I'm hoping he starts as well. But I'm just excited to see this team that he's put together. To be honest, I really am looking forward to it to see if they can click straight away. But I think Jack Clarke might make an appearance as well. To be honest. But I'm hoping he does, to be fair, because he had such a good season that he deserves to make some sort of...
I think we might see him off the bench, perhaps. You got Maeda and Fat Ouattara potentially starting on those wings.
Yeah.
I think for me, I think for me, the player I'm most excited to see, Richard and Adam spoke about him on the weekend. It is Maeda. I think he's just going to run and run and run, and he's one of our earlier signings. He's been at the club for about a month now, hasn't he? Obviously, was away for the World Cup briefly as well, but I just think he's got a bit about him. He's a good age as well. Not been in the Prem before, but I think it's going to be a signing where hopefully, I could be wrong. Sometimes signings from the Scottish Premier League don't work out. Obviously, some do, like to a crazy degree, like Van Dijk. But I don't think we're expecting anything like that. But you know, there's a lot here. I think which he could be really like handy and could give like a lot of opponents a good going. But yeah, it's going to be interesting who does start. Who do you see, like, if you can go from, if you want to give it a go at least, O'Neill's first 11? Obviously, you know, like I said, maybe Enciso and Ouattara don't start this game, as they probably will for the majority of the season, considering they only just joined. And again, there'll probably be other players coming into this team in a few weeks. But for this game alone, I don't think we're going to see what we saw 2 years ago when it was like the promotion heroes and Liam Delap and Jacob Greaves starting. This is Gary Neal's first game. He's not going to have that much sentiment towards the team that got him up here, is he? It's going to be his team now. Who do you expect to see in that 11 if we go from goalkeeper to up top?
Well, I think he's going to start the 6'9" lad, isn't he? I think it looks like he's been. I reckon it's going to be him. I mean, back four, like we said, I'm still struggling with the right back, really, to be honest. But it looks like it could be O'Shea, but maybe I'd go Fairlong just because he's, I don't know, maybe a bit more experienced there. O'Shea and Greaves probably at the back. Oh, well, no, it'd be Diop, to be honest. To see, this is what I mean. It's a tough one. It's probably going to be O'Shea at right back, Diop and Greaves centre back, and it's going to be Davis left back, I think. And he's on the wings. It's most likely. Is he going to start Philogene, do you think?
I think again it'll be Fatawu and Maeda. I think.
Do you think? Yeah.
I think it's not just due to like potential quality, but just in pre-season, Philogene only just really came back against Berlin on the weekend, and then I just can't see those two getting new subs at that start of the season.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not the same sort of team, is it? Perhaps, but I think you could see those two. What about like midfield pairing? Because we've got Matisse, I think, still recovering from his surgery, but he's obviously training, but he's not fully fit yet. Is it a pivot of Lucas and Louise, which we'll probably see for a good majority of the season before hopefully Palacios comes in?
I think so, mate. Definitely, it's got to be the two new lads, hasn't it? They're the two very good signings, and they look very good players. So I'd start them definitely. And I'd have to agree with you. To be fair, it's going to be on the wings, Fatawu and Maeda, and it's got to be. And then hopefully Enciso, and up front probably Emerson.
If Enciso doesn't start, who is in that 10 role, or who comes on from in that 10 role? It's a bit of a slim pickings. I mean, we've seen Egley in there during pre-season, but I think that's more because of availability.
Potentially. I don't see why not. I mean, like you say, it's slim pickings. So if it's not him, I guess who? Because I know Mehmeti can play there, but I don't know if he's going to play him at all. So do you know what I mean? But slim pickings. So if Enciso's fit, him. But if not, I'd probably back you up on that, Tom, mate. Probably a Gelly. Yeah.
Yeah, we shall see who starts for Gary Neal's team this weekend.
Before
we finish, James, can I get score predictions, please? We don't obviously. We're predominantly a pod, probably review games rather than preview them. But what do you think the score will be?
I'm being optimistic and I'm being very excitable, I think. But I'm going to go 3-2 Town.
3-2.
Yeah.
So high scoring game. Yeah,
absolutely.
I think I'm going to go for a win as well, just because it's you have to be optimistic right at the start. And I think Portman Road bouncing. Yes, Sunderland had a great season last year, but you'd like to think with the atmosphere we're going to have there, it would be just rocking it and see us through. And as well, similar to 2 seasons ago, following it, we had Liverpool and City to open 2 seasons ago. After this, we have got Liverpool and United. Which, so in terms of getting points on the board, I'll take a draw as well. I mean, it's never bad getting
absolutely
never bad getting points on the opening day of the season, especially in the position we're expecting to be in. But considering the 2 games we have after this, it's really really key already to get some points for. But we shall see. Yeah, that's going to do it for the show. James, thanks for joining, mate. A small, quick one here, but just preview podcast, and then we'll be back on the weekend to give our thoughts on Town's season opener against Sunderland, hopefully recapping a win. Whilst you're here, if you head up to our socials and YouTube, give us a like, subscribe, follow, and all that sort of stuff. We really do appreciate it. And give us a rating wherever you get your podcasts from. But for now, that's going to do it for the show, and we'll see you next time.